friends. I hope you're well. Today it is absolutely gorgeous. The weather this whole week has been so phenomenal. It actually hasn't rained since the hurricane, so it is a little drier than usual because typically in Florida it rains all the time, but that's just more typical with the fall season regardless. So it's a beautiful day. We had our windows open this morning, and this morning was so incredibly lovely. I started the day doing some gardening, so I trimmed the zinnias a little bit, which is good, so because they're getting so tall, like I've been showing you throughout the past few vlogs. So we have that, and then I also planted some new seeds. So in the last vlog, I pulled out our mint plant because it was taking over the garden bed, and that left a lot of real estate to plant some new items. And a really great companion plant with basil is tomatoes. I saw a few people suggest that, and one of the gardening shows I like to watch, it's called, oh goodness, I'm blanking on the name. Is it Homegrown? I think it might be called Homegrown on Magnolia Network. Jamila, the host of that, she really talked about how if you plant tomatoes near basil, the basil flavor can actually infuse within the tomato plant, adding a wonderful flavor component. So one day I would like to plant tomatoes in that bed, but I haven't made my way to the garden center recently, and I already had carrot seeds and sunflower seeds, so I ended up planting two rows of sunflowers and then another row of rainbow carrots. So that's exciting. And then I also harvested a lemon, our first lemon from our Meyer lemon tree, and we also checked on the ginger root. So I planted ginger root about a month ago, and it recently started sprouting up, which is exciting. And it's really neat because when you plant the ginger root, you can harvest a bit off as you go and then just replant it. So that's really cool. I haven't tried to do that yet, but I'll probably do that next week because I bought ginger at the farmer's market this past weekend. So once I finish that, I'll probably just start pulling it from our little ginger plant. So that's exciting. And then after that, Brandon and I went to a little date. We had a little date morning. We went to this cute pumpkin patch and coffee shop, and that was lovely. We actually rode our bikes, which was really fun, but on the way back, I wore this long orange skirt, one of my favorite skirts, and on the way there, I knew it was risky to wear a long skirt while bike riding, but I just was really feeling it and wanted to, and I was careful to kind of pull it up so it wouldn't get stuck. And it was totally fine on the way there. And then on the way back, I got a little too comfortable and I let it flow, and it ended up getting stuck in the gears of my bike. So thankfully I didn't fall or anything. I felt it get stuck, and then I just kind of slowed down, and then Brandon helped me pull it out, but it did get grease all over the bottom of the skirt. So I washed that, and it's air drying in the garden right now actually. But it definitely will have some stains, but thankfully it's just near the bottom and not super noticeable. But that's a fun little moment of the day, but I'm excited to spend time with you guys. I have some more like outdoor projects I want to work on. I'm addicted to fairy furniture or just fairy components, so I'll show you something that I picked up recently. And then tomorrow is exciting because our friends and I were having an autumn bake-off. So we're doing it with a few other couples. My friend Liz is hosting, and basically everyone's bringing a baked item, and then we're gonna judge. We're gonna have like a judging panel and pick the winner of the autumn bake-off. So I'm excited. I'm gonna do a chocolate pecan pie. Have I ever baked a chocolate pecan pie? No, I have not, but I found a New York Times recipe that has over 1,000 5-star reviews, so I'm feeling good about it, and I'm gonna bake it tomorrow, take my time, be very thorough, and hope for the best. But today I wanna do a few things to prep for that, some cute little elements. I'll show you what I have up my sleeve. And then I also need to do some editing for my vlogs for next week, and then tonight I wanna cook a cozy soup because I haven't cooked one this week yet, but that's a weekly tradition we have around here in the fall season. But that's a little look at what we have going on today, but I'm looking forward to spending time with you all. I changed into this pretty dress because, you know, my skirt is out of commission for a while as it dries, but I love this dress. I think it's so beautiful. It'd be such a pretty Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving dress. I actually rented it through Nuuly, which is a clothing rental service that I am trying for the first time this month. My friend Michelle, who's on YouTube as well, she talks about it all the time and has amazing things to say. So I finally tried it, and this is my first month, but I really like it. I probably won't do it every single month, but if maybe there's a trip or an event coming up, I think it's a really great option. And this dress, as well as the vest I was wearing earlier today with the skirt, both of them came with the tag on still, so that's pretty cool. Even though it is a rental service, they still have new items as well that you get to try for the first time. You get to be the first one to wear it. It's a true honor. Okay, as previously mentioned, I'm in love with adding fairy elements to the garden. So I found this fairy door. There's actually a door, a window, and a little light post, a little acorn light post. So I haven't opened it yet, clearly, and I'm excited to see. Okay, what? Look at this. Came with a little letter and this cute key. Oh, things like this. I get so much enjoyment out of this on my own, but you know, little elements like this make me so excited to have kids and just create these little moments for them. And I'm so excited for my niece and nephew to come over and any friends with kids so that I can show them the fairy door and all the fairy elements, because it just adds a little bit of magic to life. So we love that. And this key, oh my goodness, that is just a precious detail. Let's see what this card says. I just got this from Amazon. This is really impressive. Oh, this is really cute. Okay, it says, "My friend, have you been able to catch a glimpse of the magic around you? Now that you have this special fairy door in your hands, I would like to invite you to turn it into a portal of magic wherever you are. All you need is to pick a tree, a gap in your garden, or any other little place where you want to create a home for my friends and me to move in. We love to see the beautiful spaces that come from your imagination. Often we find these special fairy corners decorated with all sorts of beautiful offerings that tie us into nature. Think of things like rocks, moss, little wooden signs, gems, flowers, anything to make it your own. We fairies love to see creativity, and it inspires us when you use your magic to bring the world around you to life. I've got to go finish my little garden project, but I hope you take the time today to surround yourself in the beauty of nature that is around you. It's so worth it to take a deep breath and soak it all in. Yours in magic, Felicity the Fairy." What? That is such a cute little detail. I was not expecting that. I was in between a few different ones to order, but I'm really glad I picked this one because, I mean, even just that detail makes it so special. Okay, here is this the window? Yes, this is the window. Super cute, and it has a part on the back that you can use to hang it on a nail. And then we have this little acorn and this post, I guess you could say. Very cute. You see that? Is it focused? Adorable. And then, oh, it's kind of big. It's bigger than I thought. I really don't know where I'm gonna put this exactly. We gotta find a good spot. None of our trees are big enough, I don't think. Like the bottom, I don't think it's big enough. Okay, this is stunning, and it even opens. Wow, wow, wow. I am truly so excited about this. So we ought to go look for a place to put that. I am looking forward to it. We gotta scout a good spot for the fairies. Okay, and then the next thing I found for the garden are these fairy lights. I'm just realizing that it's really abiding by the fairy theme because they are called fairy lights, but you know, the little thin twinkle lights. But the special thing about these, so this is what they look like, just your standard twinkle fairy lights, but they're solar powered. So one thing I'm really appreciating are solar powered lights for the outdoors, obviously, because you don't need to switch out the battery. You don't have to have an outlet for them. It just streamlines it so much. And then of course it's great to have that more energy efficient option. So essentially this is all you have. Is there Okay, yes, there's an on and off and then different modes. But apparently it's really long too. I forget how many feet it is, but I'm excited to play around with these. I have 2 spots that I know for sure I want to put them. One, well, I think, depending on how it looks. One, I would like to put it on the arch where we have the bougainvillea, and then 2, potentially on a tree, maybe. We'll see how it looks. The problem with these fairy lights is that they do get tangled very easily. So I don't want to overcomplicate things, but I feel like that would be a nice addition to just kind of add a nice glow in the evenings. So we'll see how that turns out, and I'll let you know. And then also with Christmas coming up, I have some ideas with this. So I ordered a pack of 4, but they also have packs of 2. So I'll let you know what they look like, and then if they do end up working well, I'll insert some videos of it at night once we find homes for them. Also, one other thing I wanted to show you while we're over here. We got booed last night. Do you and your neighbors do this? Basically, what it means is we've done this for years, and I remember doing it as a kid as well, which is so fun. I just think it's a really cute way to engage and like make memories with your neighbors. Essentially, at night, you boo your neighbors and you leave a little sign for them that says you've been booed and a package of treats. So I already put the new treats in because we need to boo some neighbors soon, maybe tonight. It's funny though, because now, back in the day, it was more sneaky because not everyone had, or no one had the doorbell cameras, but now everybody has the Ring doorbell cameras. So it's pretty obvious who's delivering it. Even at night, you can kind of tell who it is, but it's still super fun and cute. But essentially, you just pick a couple neighbors, 1 or 2 neighbors, and put a gift at their door and a sign, and it's just a cute little activity. So that was a fun moment last night to get booed. I really think it's so sweet. But yeah, that's the collection of goodies. Let's go to the garden and see if we can find homes for these lights and this beautiful fairy door. Okay, I am so in love with how this turned out, and I am just elated to see it at night. I think it may even look more charming. I really was hesitant about putting it here because the tree stump is so small, but I think it works out really well and looks more organic looking, if you can even say that. But I added this Spanish moss along the walkway, and then these rocks that I had to kind of serve as stepping stones. So really pleased with how it came out, and definitely adding another magical component to the garden space. Okay, this turned out to be more of a project than I anticipated. I ended up using 2 strands of the twinkle lights, and I may even need another one because the second one ended like halfway down this side. So we'll see what it looks like at night. I'm praying it works. That would be super sad if it didn't work. So hopefully it looks beautiful, and then we can decide if we want to add another strand later today. So for the bake-off tomorrow, I mentioned I'm gonna make chocolate pecan pie. I'm really hoping it turns out okay, but I wanted to think of ways that I could add a little bit more flair and maybe earn some extra points for presentation. So one of my ideas is to make chocolate leaves with these leaf molds that I have. So I'm gonna melt some of this chocolate, and I'm also going to melt some of this coconut oil with the chocolate. I love to mix chocolate and coconut oil when I'm making chocolate covered strawberries or chocolate covered bananas. It's super tasty, and I feel like the coconut oil will also help it solidify and not melt as quickly. And so the plan is, because the pecan pie is a brown color, so if I was putting the leaves directly on the pecan pie, you wouldn't be able to see them very well. So I'm also gonna do a dollop of whipped cream, and then I'll put a couple of the leaves on top. So that's the plan. And I also, for presentation, I'm gonna bring these plates as well as these little mugs. So I'm gonna serve the piece of pie, which I will be showing you the finished product, of course. But just so you know the background vision and game plan, I'm gonna serve it on these cute little plates. And then I'm also gonna serve it with a beverage pairing. So I have pumpkin spice La Colombe cold brew, nitro cold brew, I think that's what it's called. And so you can either have a shot of cold brew with your pumpkin pie or a shot of brandy, because there's brandy in the recipe. So I have a bottle of brandy. And so I'll serve some with the brandy and some with the cold brew. So that's the vision. I'm really excited. It's like being on our own Great British Baking Show. So I'm gonna go ahead, melt some chocolate, and get these going so they can get nice and solidified before tomorrow. An afternoon latte and added some of our chocolate leaves on top, but they are quickly sinking. Still cute though. For tonight's soup, I'm making a kale and sweet potato veggie soup, and I'm also going to add in some tortellini to make it more hearty and filling. And to top it off, I've been baking sourdough, and when I was shaping my loaves yesterday, I thought it'd be really fun to make these little pumpkin croutons. So we've made a pumpkin-shaped sourdough a couple years ago. I followed the Cottage Loaves tutorial. I adore Cottage Loaves, by the way. She's so incredibly talented and artistic and creative when it comes to baking. So I didn't necessarily want to do the pumpkin sourdough loaf again, but I thought little croutons would be so fun. And I'm happy to report they've come out really cute. I'm going to shape a few more with you, and I'll kind of show you how it's done, but they're so cute. I have a little miniature pumpkin sourdough crouton patch over here, and essentially I'm just gonna top the soup with them, and I think it's mainly for show and presentation, but I'm sure they'll be yummy as well. Product. The soup smells so yummy, and it's gonna be so healthy and filling, and the little pumpkin on top is just making me giddy. It's so cute. Excited? Woohoo! The boys are here, ready
for the pumpkin croutons.
Brandon can confirm that the pumpkin croutons are delicious, except he is finding some fuzz on it from the strings that I used to make the shape.
It does taste very good though. Tastes just like you would expect. A little tiny sourdough loaf. Listen, listen.
Wow, so satisfying.
It's that ASMR.
We have light. I'm so happy. It looks so good. So there's different modes on these lights. So you can have it twinkle and do this little dance that it's doing, or you can have it steady. But oh my goodness, I'm so pleased with how it turned out. It's a few days later, but I wanted to give you the full recap of the Autumn Bake Off 2022. It was so incredibly fun. So I mentioned that I decided to bake a chocolate pecan pie, and it was my first time making a chocolate pecan pie. And throughout the baking process, there were multiple snafus. And one thing I wish I did was I used a New York Times recipe, which fabulous recipe. I love New York Times recipes. I've cooked so many things from their catalog and from their chefs, and I really trust them, especially when there are so many different reviews. But I wish I read people's comments. So when you make the recipe, you have the option to leave a comment of anything maybe you tweaked or anything you would have done differently. And as I was baking, I read through that comment section, and it was so helpful and so insightful. And I did take a few things from that comment section. So a couple things that went awry were that one, okay, let me think of the first one. Okay, one, the pie crust was an odd texture. So first I rolled it out too much. I rolled it out way too big. So when I was adding it into my pie pan, it was just overflowing out of the pie pan. So I rolled it back into a ball and then re-rolled it, and I just think that was too much for the pie crust. So it was just hard to shape, and I wish I looked up a tutorial of how to, or just tips on how to shape a pie crust so that it looks really nice and polished within the pan. So that would have been something that I wish I did. And then secondly, a few of the suggestions that other people made were, one, to add some of the roasted pecans within the filling, which I actually did, but I just added the raw pecans, not the roasted ones. So I think it would be even better if they were roasted because they're crunchier and they have that beautiful flavor. When you roast the pecans, it really does change the flavor, and they're so good. We had some extra ones that I didn't need for the pie, so we were just snacking on those, and they were fabulous. So that's one thing. And then often people told, or a few people said, oh, add more chocolate just for more chocolatey flavor. And I might do that next time, but it honestly was quite decadent to begin with. So I don't know, I'm still thinking about that one. And then another thing, so this whole time, this pie recipe is a chocolate pecan pie, but it has 2 tablespoons of bourbon in it. I bought brandy at the grocery store, not bourbon. And thankfully they are, I mean, I am not a connoisseur on liquor and the flavor notes, but in my opinion, which honestly I don't even know if I've had bourbon, so my opinion is not very relevant at all, but I think of them, I keep getting them confused, brandy, bourbon. So I used the wrong kind of liquor for this recipe, which is just so funny, because I was so sure of it, and then I actually got the whole wrong bottle, but thankfully that wasn't a big deal. But I'd like to make it with bourbon next time. And then what else? There was one other thing that I wanted to do differently. Oh, one thing that I did differently that I'm glad I did was I added sea salt flakes to the top of it, which I feel like added a nice juxtaposition to all the sweet, decadent flavor, just to have a little bit of savoriness in there. So those were my learnings with the pie. Oh, another thing is when I was putting the pie in the oven, I was feeling a little frantic at this point because it just felt messy to me. So I picked it up, and while I was putting it in the oven, I just jerked it towards the oven. Filling went everywhere, all over our rug in the kitchen. Thankfully it came out no problem. And the countertops, the floor. It was hilarious, but not in the moment. I was just like over it, but now it's really funny looking back. But okay, enough about the baking process. It was fine. I was not feeling confident that I was even gonna be like a contender though, because of all those snafus. So it was so fun. My friend Liz had a whole setup. She had dinner for us. It was fabulous. And basically there were 3 different categories. So you could win on taste, presentation, and then there was an overall winner, which is a combination of both of those scores. And whoever had the biggest score, combined score, was the overall winner. So she made these little ballot cards, and the judges walked around, and first they looked at all of the baked goods to rate it on presentation, and then they took a sample or ate the whole thing if they loved it and rated it on taste. And then Liz tallied up the votes and did a little announcement. So the presentation winner was Lindsay. She baked an apple pie. Oh, let me tell you what everyone baked. Okay, so Liz made blueberry cobbler. She was saying that it wasn't on theme, but this is a family recipe because it wasn't fall. But this is a family recipe she has, and it's just so delicious. Kind of like one of those can't go wrong type of recipes. So she did that, and then our friend Tess did pumpkin spice s'more cookies, chocolate chip cookies. And then I did the pecan pie, and then Lauren did espresso martinis with pumpkin spice biscotti, and she made them all cute, looking like little ghosts. And then Lindsay made apple pie, and Lindsay won best presentation. It was absolutely gorgeous with all the flowers and the design on top of the pie. Stunning. And then for taste, Liz and I actually tied for taste. So her blueberry cobbler and my pecan pie, so that was great. And then for overall winner, I actually won, which again, I was not feeling confident. So it was very validating because one of my dreams in life is just to be one of those cozy moms and grandmas that always has really yummy baked goods. So I felt really validated that even though I did not feel confident in this bake, I must have some kind of talent at it because I was able to pull through. The pecan pie pulled through. So it was just a really fun and sweet time. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. I don't remember at this time, but I'm really thankful for that memory. I absolutely want that to be an annual event. If you're looking for a fun fall activity, I think that is such a great idea. Even if you're doing a Friendsgiving, that could be like a fun way to gamify it or just add another activity, a bonding experience. So it was a great time, but that's gonna be it for today's vlog. I'm actually filming a new vlog as we speak. So yes, I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for always being so kind and encouraging. I really love and appreciate you all so much and cannot wait to see you next. Bye.